Hey, welcome to How To Videos Unlimited. Today I'm doing a video where I respond to one of the comments that was left by Vladimir. He wanted to know what the dimensions for two displays in your parking spot. So essentially, if you're out there trying to get your car dealer's license, a retail car dealer's license in the state of California, you need to have an office location with a minimum of two parking spots. And he wanted to know exactly what dimensions the display area, the parking spot signs needed to be. So we're going to get right into this video. All right, so let's jump right into this video and we're going to discuss what the retail dealer display requirements consists of. So first and foremost, the sign accurately needs to identify the dealership license to operate at the location. So they want to know the dealership name and your contact information. So that's a must on the two signs. So in the state of California, you have to have at least a minimum of two, or you can have as many spots as you want in order to operate as a retail dealer. I have just the minimum of two parking spots. I'm a small dealer. This is a side hustle. This is not my main hustle. And so for those of you guys that also want to do this as a side hustle to earn a couple thousand a month, then you want to have at least two spots. And so it depends on the actual location and your landlord as to how many parking spots they're willing to give you. So for my specific location, I have to pay an additional $50 a month per parking spot. So for the two spaces that I have, that's an additional $100 a month on top of my office location. So for those that are also interested in getting a wholesale dealer license, you don't necessarily need signage because you can actually operate out of your garage, or if you have like a spare room in your house on a first floor, you can operate and do not need signage for a wholesale dealer license. But for retailers, you do. And so the sign also needs to be permanent in nature. So it has to be a fixed sign. But I have actually seen some folks in California that don't have fixed signage. Some individuals have a office window and they'll put like their signage taped up to like the office window so that it's visible to DMV occupational inspector. The sign must be constructed to withstand reasonable weather conditions. It's a good thing in California, we don't get a lot of rain, not too much wind. So that's not a big factor as it would be in, somewhere out in the South or in the East Coast. But mine is definitely, cemented in. So mine actually, we required some concrete and we got them cemented in. The sign has to be at least 2 square feet in size, so 24 inches by 24 inches, and the sign must be readable from at least 50 feet away. So it has to be visible. So your dealer name and your contact information needs to be readable from at least 50 feet away. And so it has to be sufficient size to accommodate at least a minimum of 2 vehicles and used only for display purposes and situated on the same property. So you can't say, you know what, I have my 2 parking spots, XYZ city, and my office locations in a completely different city. So for me, I have parking spots are actually in the same office location parking lot. And so it just depends too. Like I said, the landlord, it's up to the landlord. So me, and there's only one other dealership in my office location, but there's a ton of other businesses. There's like a gym in mine. There's, different educational classes that are being offered. So mine has office location where it's got a lot of businesses, but I have seen some places where there's a lot of car dealers in there and they're just basically consuming a lot of the parking spots. And so before I actually found my location, I called several other places, and a lot of places when they asked me what my nature of business was going to be, and I said a used car dealer, a lot of them were like, nope, no, thank you, we're not interested. We already have too many of you guys in our spot already. And so it took me a while to actually find my office location. I know some of you guys have also find it difficult to find locations that are willing to allow you to park your cars for sale in there. So it does take some time to find a good office location that'll allow you to take up 2 spots, a minimum of 2 spots. As you grow, you might need 3, 4, 5, 6. It just depends. So it just depends on how likely that landlord is to allow you to keep growing. But you'll find it, once you're out there driving around. You guys probably want to know exactly how much I paid for those 2 signs. So let's get into the specifics. So for the 2 signs, this was the exact quote from the company that I used for 2 signs that were 24 inches by 24 inches. So 2 feet by 2 feet, using a 0.80 aluminum substrate along with the custom printed graphics with laminate protection I went with the green U-channel posts, but if I wanted like galvanized steel, I would have been an additional $11.25 per post. So that would have been like an extra almost 24 bucks. They were going to be 8 feet tall, which means that the top of the signs, because obviously we had to go a little bit down into the dirt. So the 8 feet signs, we went down 2 feet, and the top of the signs were going to be about 6 feet tall. And then if I wanted the signs a little bit higher, I could have went with 10 feet U-channel posts, and then we would have went down 2 feet into the ground and then cemented them in. So then the top of the signs would have been 8 feet. I would have had to pay an additional $7.75. So almost a little bit over $15 to do that. I opted just to go with the ones that were included in the original price. So I was going to supply my own art. So I had a graphic designer create my logo for me. He charged just for the signs and putting my logo and all that information on, and then coming out. So that was the cool part too, is that he actually, the owner of the business, a small mom and pop business that I went with, and I had gotten quotes from a couple other companies that were a little bit bigger than the company that I went with. And I just liked him because straight off the bat, he went and gave me a great quote, the best quote. A lot of other companies were trying to charge like $600-700, and I ended up paying $376. So $188 times 2 came out to $376. I paid him cash, and that was what I paid. So that's what you need in the state of California. For those of you guys that are not in California, it could be similar. You guys might have the same rules, but definitely check with your DMV occupational licensing just to find out exactly what your requirements are for a retail dealer license in other states. But this is what I did for California. And so now you guys probably want to see what those signs look like and the actual full process of them installing those signs. So let's get right into that video.
I'm gonna grab a piece of wood.